Welcome to Share Views. It's a special edition today, not only because both the guests in the studio are Italian, but also because we're celebrating the arrival of a new company to the main listing of the London Stock Exchange. But firstly, my co-host is Stefano Barbaglio, who's the director at Cassiopeia Services, and our guest, who's the man in focus, the man in the news, is Andrea Cattaneo, who's CEO at Zenith Energy, which came to the stock market today.
Good morning. Thank you for your invitation. Indeed, today is a great day. It's a day of admission of Zenith Energy in the London Stock Exchange, the main market and the section standard. And so we are very proud of this achievement and we are very pleased to be here.
And not only that, you've got a cool EPIC code. That's very important. ZEN. Zen is a cool thing to have, isn't it?
Very much. We tried to have it before in Canada, but for some reason didn't come. We were before with the ticker ZEE, yes. And finally we got Zen. So we will have to learn first what is the Zen philosophy. We are fairly ignorant in Oriental philosophy, but we know that is a very epic name.
Right. Well, I mean, the couple of points there. One, you've got a dual listing. I mean, you mentioned the Canada. You've got the dual listing between London and Canada. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, you know, first of all is history. We have been listed in Canada for 9 years. And so we always thought that our destiny was to come to London, a bigger market, especially today in oil and gas. But with the acquisition of the field in Azerbaijan, that became a must. The distance between Baku and Calgary is 11 hours, so it's a very big time gap. Practically, even if we work very late, we have to wait nearly 9 o'clock at night to see our colleagues in Calgary in Skype. So it's quite fatiguing for colleagues and people. One of our characteristics that I stress is that we are a company run from the field. We are not a company run from the head office, we are a company run from the field. So the quantity of managers and the focus and expenses and resources that the investors toss for us, they don't go to the head office, they go straight to the field.
Right, just a big question here. You're the largest onshore oil producer in Azerbaijan, which yes. Sounds like this. That's quite a big deal. You've only raised 2.3 million pounds here at 7p. I mean, that seems quite stingy.
Yes, maybe the definition could be that, but there are mathematical factors. Our market cap in Canada was only 4 million pounds, or then became 5 in the last few months. And so when we plan our raising, we didn't want to dilute the historical shareholders that they brought all the resources and the money to make this venture becoming real. And the second is that we need very much to create an awareness of what we are. The largest, as you kindly remember, the largest onshore field in Azerbaijan is ours. Azerbaijan is the country which is the milestone of oil producing, but that is history. But today fact is that is the 12th largest holder of oil and gas reserve in the world. On top of that, being the largest oil field in Azerbaijan, we held since our start in March 1% of the territory of Azerbaijan as license, an oil operation license. So it's a very interesting mathematical factor to represent to the investors that we have this huge dimension, yet to be understood by the market, because our market cap post IPO will be only to start with 8 million pounds. So we are very deeply undervalued. These factors are clear.
I don't see who made the valuation, because I mean, there are petrol stations which are worth more than your company, and they don't have as much petrol under the forecourt as you would presumably in Azerbaijan. So how did the valuation come about?
Unfortunately, when you are listed, you can make whatever effort to discuss the evaluations and the reserves, but at the end of the day, the easy conversation goes to what is your price yesterday in TSX-V. So unfortunately, that was the history. Our price was around 14 cents. On top of that, for an IPO, people like to see a discount in a way that you create a larger appetite. So we made a discount of the discount of the discount, and we ended up with 7p per share. So it's an extremely undervalued and over-discounted stock. But this for mathematical factor, you know, people saying the market price in Canada, you are listed, we can buy it in Canada, you know, a variety of statements that led to this great opportunity for investors. It's nothing that has been strategized, has come from mathematical consequences, but these represent an excellent opportunity for investors, in my humble opinion.
Andrea, one of the points that is quite interesting to investigate is how a small company like Zenith Energy managed to get such an interesting field in Azerbaijan. I understand that you got across the assets while you were in Italy, so I would like you just to explain investor a little bit about how you got the asset and also your relationship within the country.
Thank you very much. Is another interesting thing about Zenith. Zenith is a small company, but has quite a large board, 6 people, soon to become, after admission, 7. There are a lot of intellectual resources in this board, which came for free to the company by the founders. The majority of people that are in the board today created actually Zenith from its inception in 2007. And one of them is the chairman, which is the ex-chairman for 2 terms of the FAO, Food Agriculture Organization, and through him came a variety of diplomatic relations, and so our ability to present ourselves very credibly in Azerbaijan. FAO is based in Rome, and that is the reason for which you mentioned Italy. But is the United Nations for food. So once we were in Azerbaijan discussing, obviously it came the factor that we were, yes, a small company, but a full operator in oil, gas, condensate, and electricity. So there was a round ability to operate and to maintain. And when a major sell for little, especially, a big field wants to see somebody that is reliable, not somebody that has an history to be 1 year in Africa, 1 year in the Balkans, and 1 year in Latin America, like many venture colleagues in Canada do. Ourselves, we have a tradition to stay in the countries where we have started production. When you have production, you connect with a variety of local communities, the workers, the provider, suppliers of services, electricity, mechanic, families, neighbors, and so then you create a continuity. It's like having a factory of shoes. It's unlikely that people that have a factory of shoes sell it every 2 years, when instead in the market of M&A of oil and gas junior company, there is a lot of continuous opening and closing of presence, because in reality there is not a presence. It's just that you come once per annum or once every 2 years with a rig, you make a hole, maybe it's good, most of the time, by statistic, is a duster, and then you disappear. So there is no real connection with the country hosting you. Ourselves, instead, we have 200 people in Azerbaijan, in a field that maybe could be managed by us with 40. Salaries are very low in Azerbaijan, and our social responsibility is trying to grow production and to maintain the people rather than to fire the people and to keep the same production. So we are working in this direction. Of course, we have the full support of the local and federal authorities, so we have a lot of sympathy for our method of working in the country. We are a low operator company, which is something that they never seen before in the country, because the normal present company in Azerbaijan is Total, BP, Statoil, Itochu, Exxon, Shell, and so this company, they have a total different structure of cost, but then maybe when they leave, they have to fire 3,000 people because they change mind and they stop exploration of shores. Ourselves, instead, we are onshore. We are producing oil at the moment at $16 per barrel, but in few months, when production will increase, our costs go down to $10 or $9 per barrel. Nobody, even the most pessimistic, when they are in the mood, will say that oil can go down as low as 20, although sometimes said that maybe 1 year ago. So we are in a fixed profitability. The important is to make a bigger profitability, making a bigger quantity of oil.
But Andrea, you at the moment you are producing around 300 barrels per oil per day. What is going to be your work program over the next 12 months?
So our philosophy, I will show you one day an advertisement we made in Azerbaijan where there is a technician dressed like a doctor with the equipment to listen the heart of patient. We are curing this big field that is 700 square kilometers, to be precise, 642 square kilometers. And this field has produced at a certain moment 15,000 barrels. Then through mechanical failure and not depletion, has stopped producing these big quantities and has gone down to produce the small quantities of today, 300 barrels. Reason has been the lack of investment. When independence came in Azerbaijan, the focus of the new government was offshore in the Caspian Sea. And the major that came, BP, Statoil, they wanted to see Total, they wanted to see big numbers, the 100,000 barrels or the 200,000 barrels rather than the 10, the 20,000 barrels. So their focus was offshore and not anymore onshore. This field was then practically abandoned in terms of technological enhancement, and now we have the great possibility, because we are not bringing rocket science, we are just bringing normal today science. So the enhancement that we need to do is not to bring something exceptional, but something today normal, when instead at the moment the field was managed with the sort of very old equipment.
And what is your production target?
Our production target in 15 months is 1,000 barrels, and then in 3 years is 3,000 barrels. And the number that we mentioned in previous communication to the public, and so we want to reach in a certain, not too far distant future, the 1 million barrels per annum. And this is something that is possible. The reserves 2P are vast for these fields. And then the fact that we can reach the 1,000 barrels by initially workover. The workover are economical way to raise production. They are low risk, and then most of the cost of the workover is absorbed by the profit of the monthly production.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time now, but celebrations are in order, obviously, for you later on. Maybe you can treat yourself to a glass of Prosecco. You don't want to have too much of a cash burn there, but Andrea Cattaneo, CEO of Zenith Energy, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's it for this week's Share Views.